Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. We are guided by Spirit if we allow it. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. I don't normally add this part, but today I will. No fear, no favor, and an uncompromising no fear, no favor, and an uncompromising willingness to be authentic, accurate, and honest. Disclaimer: all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. I present my email for any correspondence. And in this episode, I'm going to be looking at the missing I almost wanted to say inmates, students, let's say, at the CEDU school, and a little bird sent me an email, and I replied several times, and this topic came about. And once I started researching, so for those, and I'll be, just full disclosure, I haven't gone into the nth degree of the history of this entire program. But long story short, for those that aren't aware of it, let's call it a modified boarding school scenario, looking after youth, troubled youth. I almost want to say corrective behavior therapy, all that kind of nonsense, going into the deserts. I'm sure you've seen some of those docus on Netflix. Students in the heat for days and days on end. Anyway, when I started looking at the history of the place, I discovered there are several missing people, There are several incidents at that facility, and there's about 2 or 3 of them. For some reason, I actually picked these 3, and then I discovered that these 3 are actually missing as a collective, not as a collective, but certainly cases that remained top of mind. So we've got John INMAN, Blake PURSLEY, and I believe Blake has been around, who went missing in 1993. So John in January 1993, still no answers. Blake June of 1993, still no answers. Then we've got Daniel Ted YUEN, who also went missing, presumably on February the 8th. Now this takes place in February 2004. So effectively 11 years. Now I will just say, based on my preliminary work, I've done some preliminary work, of course. It looks a lot, but not much. There is a distinct difference between energy and operation, and I haven't researched this from a research or analytics point of view or written text, just energy and dates here. 1993 is a very different school situation in 2004, in my opinion. And the information about when this all actually was started is very sketchy, very vague. And that's why I started going more into the research to see. I was looking for key dates at these facilities. And that's how I came about these 3 names. Here they are here. This is my initial research. Then I did do a chart for Paris Hilton, or at least I put the dates out, and I thought, I'm going to leave that. Maybe we do it, maybe we don't, because I don't want anything to be tinged, but I believe she may be on the right track if it's to believe that she is exposing the abuser. So I would say, as an overview first, Daniel's case, in my opinion, is about abuse. 14.5, 15.6. Repetitive abuse. Penises in mouths. Daniel's been around as well. Pretty disgusting, actually. Like I say, Blake's been around, John, and Daniel has been around. Let's get those motherfuckers. Okay, so let's look at John's case. January, so he is allegedly goes missing January 16. So let's dig into the investigation. So on the day, now we can also appreciate, because now we note this, let me just zero this quickly because that was my initial red flag issue, that of course we got monarch programming here, right? Now, because, and this is, I'm doing a personal investigation, it'll take time on another, on a concept of the energy reads that where I've done before, let's say for example the year 2000, have a different kind of energy. In fact, let's put it this way, it's more clear. I mean, based on this day here, I don't even need to do the 369 because these guys are doing it like they have the right to do it. Do you know what I mean? It's so blatant. Cover up, 17.8. Let me write this down. Let's just go here. 17.8. Cover up. They're all cover ups. Telling me to do something. I suppose one way or the other they will get their revenge. Okay, so here we've got 16.7. This is almost a takedown. I mean, can you think that grown-ass men and women, adults, who have children of their own, who nurtured their children, we can say most of them, some are bots and malfunctioning born elements, if you know what I mean. The Agent 47 elements people. But here we've got adults coming to assassinate a 17-year-old. 16.7. And we've got these Monarch 39.12.3. Do we need to remind? Actually, I didn't bring in their chart, actually. All right, so what I'm going to do, so we've got these, we've got 4 significant dates. But I'm just going to add here, so CIA Monarch programming. Let's just do a quick refresher. Beg your pardon. 48.12.3, motherfuckers. 48.12.3, 39.12.3. Okay. That for me, alarm bells, There's the alarm bell. So let's just see what is going on here. So the intention of this situation, and we can argue CEDU, torture and murder facility, the intention is purely operational, to carry out maniacal programming. 9. Mind. The mind control elements, inceptions. Oh, so John's going to join the facility soon. What program can we feed him into? And we'll monitor our progress or lack of progress, because we know LSD, for example, can cause issues. Or we'll give him Ritalin. Let's see the effects of Ritalin. Oh, John didn't really make it past month 3, whatever it was. Not prediction, just been, one would say, snarky. All right, 1910-1. So we got an operation in play. Here's the Grand Master Plan number. This you can equate. And please, this might be triggering to Jewish people. I'm sorry. But it's just been pinged on me. Because we must understand the backstory of monarch programming, right? Now I'm going to speak about the Holocaust. The atrocities that happened during the Holocaust were bartered, donated, sold, bought, exchanged, and of course we can go deeper down the rabbit hole. The Nazi MFs were granted holidays in Argentina, one could argue. So having now procured all of that insight, and including what Japan did in the war with their vivisections, atrocities on human bodies, the CIA and America bought it all, lock, stock and barrel. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's try it out on our own people. What they did in Auschwitz and all those places of horror, terror. Let's try it on our own citizens. Why not? It's our country. It's a free world. So, John, you're going to get the LSD tour. Blake, you're going to get whatever other program. And he is in a different program, by the way, 57-12-3. That's a different program. So, of course, if we now look at the +3 for John, unlawful as hell. Right? No surprise there. Why is there 20, hidden 22? This is, I believe, possibly was the trigger that may have sparked this issue. So, of course, John realizes that things aren't well. And they talk amongst each other, even though they walk around like zombies. I had an image of these guys so drugged up. It was called probably drooling the whole bloody day, right? So John is upset about the situation. 22, outburst. So yeah, let's zoom in here. Non-family values. Oh, but the signage outside said, bring your children here for the family experience. We deal with behavioral issues, but don't worry, we will treat you like our own. And then when you start opening up the curtains, 3 days after John has arrived, hey, this must be a cool place. 3 days later, right? The fourth morning he wakes up, he doesn't even know what his name is. 42.6. Human experimentation. 33.6. Human experimentation. 426 includes that as well. So these guys were guinea pigs for the CIA and their doctors. And I did see, this is a ghastly number here, by the way. I'll get there. 60, outcome 6, ghastly for a kid. That's like filling him with 4 liters of poison. Drink all of that poison. We want to see what happens. Motherfuckers. So the human experience, look at this shit. 2224. Now this confirms what, it comes across as maybe a little bit jokey. But here is 22.4 when you look at the human physiology. The processes. How does the body react to this? How does the body react to that? In spades. 22.4. It's the norm. This is troublesome, this 14.5. So I've been reminded of a video clip, and I don't have it, but it's going to be a little bit graphic, unfortunately, about kids. You'll recall, I would probably say approximately, let's call it 2013, don't quote me verbatim, but in that zone, 2013, 2014, round about there, when the Pizzagate scandal was breaking. We even had some, I must actually look into those dates. There was some guy that even went down to that particular pizzeria with a shotgun and what, right? Now, one of the key puppet masters behind Pizzagate, there was audio leaked from one of his sessions that he had with children. This 14.5 is talking about abuse of children, physically, mentally, is the norm. Because it's sitting 14.5 in the day, so that means in the main, the entire experience was 14.5. That was life at this facility, 14.5, with this happening in the background. Motherfuckers. So ironically, as the universe would poke fun at these motherfuckers, the universe is saying there is issues, and who's got the issues? The people that call themselves doctors, caretakers, caregivers, medical administration, CIA, government, you know that long list. Cover up 17.8. (26.8) is hidden, unfortunately. Whatever happened to young John, I believe, eh? Would probably never want to be spoken out loud. So let's just say we know, I'm going to just say, if an event happens, okay, let's say event happens and we find a 26.8 after the fact, then we say it's a staging number. But if 26.8 is before the event and even during the event, it is similar to, I saw a number here. If I'm going on a tangent, I will cut it out. The 26.8 is a number first responders don't want to see at a crime scene. It's detrimental on the human body. 8 is detrimental on the human body, Now, in his all reveal plus 9, 48.12.3, 39.12.3. Now you'll note in the shop window, 39.12.3, and in the plus 9 it now exposes and reveals the 48.12.3. Just thinking about it, the 17.8. Remember when Catherine came back to work? I think it was last week, supposedly. On that day, there were 2 times 17.8s plus 2 8s. So I'll just mention that now. Cover up. Okay, Blake. Blake, unfortunately, goes through the same experience, unfortunately. Very similar. And of course, it happens in the same year. The outstanding number is this 57.12.3, unfortunately for me. This is another program, whatever this program is. I did consider going there energy-wise. But I think in fairness, sometimes it's not nice to poke your nose in the door. But I will just say, because you know, sometimes you don't want to see what's behind that door, right? 5 is not good, is all I'm going to say. See also all these transactional numbers here. Let's see, not to minimize his experience at all, but you'll see he's enduring the same thing, 14.5 in the day. So in his case, he has a blowout, he has an argument, fight, shouting match with someone. Yeah, it's like he's breaking away from the group, or the group is breaking away from him, but there is an outburst here. Foul play. Murder. The intention, he was meant to go on a particular program, maybe he rejected it. I don't know what his in date is in relation to these dates, or the June 26. But this is a different program, yeah. And in fact, hallucinogenic, I've just been given the word. Hallucinogenic. Makes sense. So 5 is drug. LSD, motherfuckers. Now, confirmation perhaps is the 60 outcome 6. Because that is like, let's say they wanted to give him a single dose, right? Instead, they gave him, for argument's sake, I'm not predictive, but argument's sake, a triple dose, military grade. Okay, that's what will bring around the 60. Like it's like a bomb, but not only a bomb from a drug point of view, it becomes poisonous to the body. So did he fail, or did his body fail during an experiment? Yeah, you see, here was this other number. When I said 26.8, you don't want to find at a crime scene, here's it here, 35.8. That's another number. These are the two main numbers that first responders don't want to see when they arrive at a crime scene. It's the equivalent of having a massive car wreck and the body is just done, right? And everyone knows about it, 38.11.2. Everyone, the higher ups, 38.11.2. I think he's definitely, I believe he would have died. I'm just checking now, John, as well. Well, definitely in the case of Blake, he may have died as a result of whatever they were fucking around with him with. There's evidence of it. 60 outcome 6. You don't want that anywhere near any human body, let alone a kid. Motherfuckers. See, this 41.5 speaks about narcotics as well, eh? I believe he may have traumatized during this event, and oof. Let's just see. It's definitely no. So the question I was asking, let's see if, let's say for argument's sake that it was a triple dose. We use that as an example, right? But according to the analytics, it should be fine. But however, when they gave it to him, it became poison. So what I'm asking is, or did they intentionally give him the drug knowing it's going to fuck him up? 35.8. That is like done. Fried. Your brain is fried. 8 is the brain as well. Fried. So to answer my dumb question, they knew. 38.11.2, they knew. And we have 14.5 in play. They knew. This reminds me, in fact, I was thinking of that movie recently. Do you guys ever recall Jacob's Ladder? How they drugged a unit, army unit, and they ended up killing themselves, right? With LSD. So in my opinion, John and Blake are related in what happened to them. The same people did it to them, let's say that. Okay? However, when I get to Daniel's side here, you can see even just by the numbers, physically looking at the numbers, it looks different, right? But once you start getting in, you see these issues of abuse. So the abuse is continuing. Effectively, the abuse is continuing, and we will go into Daniel's case. The abuse is continuing, so the people that are managing the facility, right? But the operational element has left. Does that make sense? So let's have a look and see what happens with Daniel. Now, the registered date is this February the 8th. But I personally have an issue with it. And the reason why I have an issue with it is because of this number here, 189. And we note, so let's just have a look here. So I believe the incident would have happened here, February the 7th, whether it was only on this day or tagged into the morning of the next day, but of course it would have, because here's all the decision makers running around all of a sudden. But let's have a look. February the 6th, oh, beg your pardon. February the 6th, we see 3 sixes. And 6 speaks about abuse as well. Anger, violence. 8, very aggressive number. 14, 5. Something is very wrong on this day. Let's have a look here. This day for me is very dodge as well. So the issue is here. Let's have a look here quickly. February the 7th, we have a 7 in play. So once again, it can be a teacher, instructor, doctor, whatever it is at these facilities. Followed by a 9, which is a murder. (15-6). So we've got an organizational number in play, the community of it, and we have a death here. So we go into the actual, we can say on one hand, this is Daniel here, the kid. But there's also a medical issue here. And I was just looking at this chart again. I did take a mini break. The empath levels were getting too high. There's torture and abuse going on here. Now, what I did look for, and I mentioned that although it's the same facility, that the operation of Monarch and MK has taken away, and whatever other projects they were running there, that we have what's I gonna but now, having looked at this again in that little mini break, I had a cup of coffee and a small piece of cake. 22-4. So I'm still getting a sense actually that there is an operation running here. So we do have an operational number, 19-10-1. Now it's low tech, low tech. Or it's not necessarily as big as these programs. Okay. But what are they testing? And this reminds me of the case I did with the inmate that died in her cell. And I'll probably put up the thumbnail here. Beg your pardon for not remembering the name. Now, in Daniel's case, what are they testing? Look here, 22-4, now on a medical level. Pharmaceuticals. Hey, company Big Pharma number 1, come test this drug this week. 22-4 speaks about Big Pharma. And testing medical, it's almost like testing prescription drugs. Do you know what I mean? So we still got trials going on here then. Just not from the World War II vibe ones. So I'm definitely getting, I'm going to call foul play here. Here's foul play 14.5. This must have tagged, if we look at it at a 24-hour cycle, it must have tagged into this day. But I believe the event would have started on February the 7th and perhaps ended the early morning of February the 8th. But the whole situation was triggered by this event here on this day, February the 6th. There's treachery that has gone on here, 14.5, 15.6, 16.7, towards children. Highly abusive environment. These are your pigs treating badly to kids. And even using restraints, 21.3, or let's say while in restraints. Now that restraint doesn't necessarily have to be a physical restraint. It can also be a chemically induced restraint, motherfuckers. I wrote a feature film back in the day. Started in 2009, 2013 we got onto set, dealing with issues like this, psychiatric abuse. You guys have watched that documentary series, Industry of Death? The Industry of Death. These days you'll find it as a 10-part series. If you haven't watched it, I recommend you watch it. If you are into abuse of medical practices in the name of psychiatry. So now they're popping pills to validate whether right or wrong or in the right direction. Maybe we should reduce the anxiety elements or the cramping or the gnawing of the teeth elements. Oh, too much toxin in that one. Let's reduce the toxins there. Sorry, 400 kids that go missing. But humanity is grateful, thank you. Is that what they're saying? 17.8, cover up, operational, ongoing. And this actually brings in experimentation as well. 7. Jesus, does it ever stop? And yeah, once again, we see 24.6, 15.6. These are familiar people committing atrocities. Cut to promotional advert. Come bring your unruly kids here. We have a new formula for dementia. We're going to test it this week. Bring them now, quickly. And then Barbara Walters and all those motherfuckers also send their kids there. Is that the price they had to pay? Pigs. Pigs. This is the date, what I found as the release date for the Paris Hilton documentary. You're welcome to investigate it. See if you come up with similar numbers like Daniel here. if you come next week, we are trying a new penicillin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's not a, these abuse at behind walls of medication or walls of medicine. All right, leave your comments there. Let's see what we have to say about these mofos. See you soon. Bye for now.